Are you excited for the new Black Panther movie dropping in February? Well, I am too. And you can share in this excitement by not only going to see the movie, but you can also purchase the new Black Panther Brimezus shirts on Teespring. The links will be in the description below. Holla at your boy. What's going on, YouTube fam? It's your boy, the wisest and most powerful of all nerds, the most powerful keyboard warrior in the world, Brimezus. Welcome to BrimeTime. BrimeTime is my semi-daily vlog series where I talk about anything I'm interested in. I'm a professional kickboxer, hardcore Nintendo gamer, religious Marvel fanboy, along many other things. So the topics I'll cover on this series will vary a lot. There are several other videos in the BrimeTime playlist, but this is the official second episode of BrimeTime. The topic I'm going to talk about today is something very close to home to me. I've been collecting Spider-Man comic books extensively since I was 12 years old. My comic book collection is nothing short of impressive, and as you can guess, Spider-Man is my most favorite superhero. There has been many great writers of Spider-Man over his 70-year plus history. To write a Spider-Man comic book is a badge of honor in the comic book industry. Perhaps one, if not the highest honors among individual characters. Spider-Man tends to always top the charts as the individual best-selling comic book each month, year after year. I made a video designating the top 10 greatest Spider-Man writers of all time last year on my YouTube channel. You can check it out. The link will be in the description or in the icon above. Arguably the most prolific and accomplished, not to mention current writer of the Amazing Spider-Man, is none other than Dan Slott. Dan Slott has been the flagship writer of the Amazing Spider-Man ever since I was about 16 years old or so. About 10 years, giving him one of the longest active runs on the Amazing Spider-Man series. But it was announced today, January 19th, 2018, that Dan Slott will be writing a new Iron Man title for Marvel Comic Books and leaving the Amazing Spider-Man book. Dan Slott had this to say: "There is only one benchmark left that I could hit, and it felt very far away. And that was more issues of any Spider-Man comic book than anyone. That was the one benchmark that was very much dangling out of reach like Tantalus. The reason why was Brian Micheal Bendis. He kept writing, so it was a moving benchmark. And I just assumed he was never leaving. If I had only known that Brian was going to jump to DC, I would have stayed on. I bet you I would have stayed on." Yes, Brian Micheal Bendis is also leaving Marvel, and he announced that last November to jump to DC. Brian Micheal Bendis has been writing for Marvel exclusively for 20 years and has wrote more Spider-Man issues than anyone. I consider him the third greatest Spider-Man writer of all time. He's the creator of the Ultimate Spider-Man series, and also one of my favorite Spider-Man, Miles Morales. The real question to ask now is who's going to take Dan Slott's place as the flagship writer of Spider-Man. There are a couple worthy writers from Marvel that could step up to the plate and do an excellent job, in my opinion. Christios Cage often writes and co-writes Amazing Spider-Man issues during the run of Dan Slott. Mark Waid has wrote several Amazing Spider-Man issues throughout the same term, and also writes Champions and the Avengers that feature Spider-Man Peter Parker as well as Miles Morales. Peter David was writing for Spider-Man since the 70s and early 80s, and is also the creator of Spider-Man 2099, and is currently writing for the Scarlet Spider series featuring Ben Reilly. And of course, Brian Micheal Bendis, if he wasn't leaving Marvel to write for DC. Another good question is who's going to take over his books, especially Spider-Man. Nobody writes as much as Brian Micheal Bendis does. Dan Slott's issue for the Amazing Spider-Man is said to be the issue 801, which is going to be releasing in July 2018, not far from now. As of right now, we're on issue 793 with the Amazing Spider-Man. So we'll see. It's claimed that Dan Slott's most harrowing story of his entire career is going to be starting with Amazing Spider-Man issue 798. Who do you think should take Dan Slott's place as the main writer for the Amazing Spider-Man? I'm pretty sure the decision has already been made by Marvel, obviously, since Dan Slott has claimed that he known about his retirement since 2014. It's a shame that they came so close to beating Brian Micheal Bendis' record of writing the most Spider-Man issues. And I think that there's nobody more deserving to break that record than Dan Slott. But it looks like I'm going to have to wait at least another 10 years or so for somebody to surpass what both Dan Slott and Brian Micheal Bendis has done with Spider-Man. Also, guys, I will have reading recommendations for all the comic books you see in this video down in the description below. Don't forget to check out my other comic book related content, such as the top 10 greatest Black Marvel superheroes of all time, the top 10 greatest Spider-Man suits of all time, as well as other comic related material. Please hit that like button, and if you like this video or not, hit that subscribe button so you can see more comic book related content. It's your boy Brimezus, the wisest and most powerful of all nerds. I will see you guys next time.